or going back in to reduce your ticket price. Mr. Sebastian was asked 5 times to give us that number. It is an absolute must. How can you set up a reserve when you don't know what you did in the prior year? Okay? This is a nonsense. Olga brought up another point. You're limited here. We have numbers that come from the sky. Mr. Sebastian is very astute at making things up.
All right, that's...
You could boo what you want. You're not trained.
That's enough.
Okay? There are numbers here that don't make any sense. We have the exact same number from one thing to the other. This budget, I guarantee you, is substantially off by anywhere from $150,000 to $200,000. And another word, here in our bylaws, which Mr. Israel disregards, it's a total disrespect. In the past, we had the budget posted in the newspaper. You had only 3 days. Who are the people who don't have internet? I dare any one of you to come up here and explain anything in this budget that you just was handed. You could boo, you could do what you want. It's illegal to vote on this budget other than no, because we shouldn't be voting on it. And anybody who votes on it is not in compliance with our own bylaws, which we're spending hundreds of thousands of dollars to prepare, and I have the bylaw here. And let me tell you something. It's also what's happened in the past. We've always gotten this budget in advance. To walk in and hand the budget, to put it on.
Your 3 minutes
3
are
days.
over.
3 minutes.
Vote this
3 minutes.
budget down.
All right. Ed?
You don't even remember what day it is.
That's tonight.
All right.
Of course.
All right, just one minor comment. Bylaws are clear. The budget will be presented for approval to the delegate assembly in October, period. You spent the last week polluting the internet with the most vile emails I have ever seen. To characterize them as false would be an understatement. Moving right along. I think Jean is next.
Thank you.
Good morning, ma'am.
I corrected the minutes, if you remember. I haven't spoken on the budget, so.
Hasn't spoken on this, yeah.
Yes.
Go ahead, Jean.
Thank you. There is something that, with the budget that I have been upset about for several years, and I would like to see it corrected. I'm going to read you my statement because I don't want to miss anything. The expenditures not previously budgeted in excess of $1,000 are required to be approved by the Officers Committee, the Executive Committee, and finally the Delegate Committee. That's in our bylaws. Request for expenditures not previously budgeted under $1,000 shall be presented to the President for his approval. That's the way it used to be. Now we have all of those reserve expenditures put in one pot, so to speak. They've been earmarked somewhat, but we still don't have the right to approve those items. They used to come to the delegates, anything over $1,000, and we got to approve it. We have now been cut out of that process. We have lost our right to approve items over $1,000. let me explain it as simply as I can. Suppose we have three categories. One is apples, and that has $100 in it. One is pears, it has $50 in it. And one are grapes, and that has $200 in it. Under the old process, if David wanted to spend $150 on apples, he came to the delegates and said, I want $50 more for apples. And the delegates could say, okay, David, you can have $50 more. Or they could say, no, David, you've had enough apples. We're not going to give you any more. So the difference is we have lost our right to approve monies. They have what they call a blended reserves, which means that anything over the amount of money that they have designated, they can take out of another category. They can spend from one category to another without our approval. And I think that's wrong, and it's been done for several years, and I think it needs to be corrected. So I
3 minutes are
suggest and implore you to turn this budget down and keep on turning it down until we get it right. Thank you.
All right. Just as a show, like a poll, how many association presidents have used pooled reserves in the preparation of their budget? Yeah, quite a few, because that's really what Gene is talking about, line by line by line, and you can really go overboard on that. You know, I'd hate to think you really want me to come here when I need to buy a box of paper clips. Yeah, okay? Yes, ma'am.
Oh, can I just say one more thing about the pooled reserve versus what we
Right.
and what we're doing now? So although UCO does operate under pooled reserves, the reason why the reserve items are all spread out is because what she said is correct. If there's any new item that would be put on for reserves or budget, that would be voted on. The separation of all of the reserve items shows that, you know, the fence, let's say, needs to be replaced. There's money set aside for that. The delegates are voting that that's what you've agreed to, at least in the 2019 budget, of applying that money. So I just wanted to reiterate that although it is pooled reserves, these are the line items that are earmarked for them. Yes, ma'am.
Jean Brucker, president of Andover M. I went to one of the budget meetings, and it was such a waste of time because, as Dave Israel mentioned, two people just kept talking and talking and talking. And I made a point of saying something about that all we heard was them, and they turned around, one of them, and insulted me. The other one just insulted me. I'm afraid I was wrong. I booed at him, and he turned around and told me I wasn't smart or I wasn't whatever he just said. I may not have a CPA degree. I do have an accounting degree. I'm a volunteer just like all the others here, and we are giving of our time, and I'm not going to have somebody stand up here and tell me.
Yeah. I appreciate how you feel. Anita.
Yes, I just wanted to clarify something. We're operating under the 2013 amended bylaws, and there's nothing in there on publishing the budget 10 days before a vote. Just not there. Just FYI.
Right. The bylaws are very clear, and I cannot believe that unless you arrived literally yesterday, you don't know that the bylaws clearly state the budget will be presented for approval to the delegate assembly in October. Period. Yes, ma'am.
Michelle Mike.
All right. I got you disorganized. I'm sorry.
I just have a
Please.
really, really quick question. I need to go somewhere to take my husband somewhere, and I want to vote. Can I vote?
I would love to move this along, and
But
I
can I
think
vote after?
and I think it is time, really, to call a question. So we'll cut off after this lady here.
Very quick question.
There are palm trees along the fence at the Haverhill Gate. When you expand the...
At the Haverhill Gate?
Yeah.
You're talking about the areca palms.
Yes. Are they going to be destroyed?
Whoa, no. Those, you would have had to been here a while. Those were a gift from Commissioner Coons many years ago. And no, they are not going to be destroyed, I assure you.
Good, thank you.
I would only comment, and there was a question about restoration of some of the FPL damage. The fences will be fixed, but we're somewhat restricted in what sort of vegetation we can put. That's why FPL cleared it. They want their lines open and accessible. So I know Wellington, they had a beautiful privacy screen. We're going to look into what vegetation we can put in, and if we can, we will. All right. Anything that will grow high, they're not going to allow. All right. Yes, Gene. Gene, one bite at the apple.
No, you need a motion before you can call the question, that's all.
Well, I would be glad to hear a motion to... On the budget. Thank you, sir. Do we have a second? Patricia Caputo seconds. All right. I have to check on the quorum. John, how many have been turned in? How many? Two. All right. The number of signed-in delegates was 155, Phyllis. Two have left. You're right. I should have announced that. So clearly we have a quorum. So if you get your little clickers out, I don't get a clicker. And can we bring up the budget vote, Marilyn? Should have been up. You got nothing there? Oh yeah. Can't believe it. Sir, who made the motion?
Michael Wiseman and Dave.
Mike Meisman. Is Ken Graff here?
Here he comes.
Cowboy Ken. All right. I understand. I know we have paper, and if I have to go back to paper, we'll go. All right? No, we got it. Thanks. All right. Thank you, Ken. And go ahead and vote.
Vote.
Is the receiver working?
Better? Now?
It's not working. Technology is a wonderful thing when it works. Sorry.
All right, hit it. we go.
All right, don't give up. Push the button now. No, stop. Leave me alone, please.
Yeah.
It's looking good.
153.
You're pretty close. You're pretty close. You got 155 minus 2. So, has everybody voted who intends to vote? Remember, there is an abstain option. All right. All right, it looks like it. Go ahead, Marilyn, call it up. All right, I want to thank you all for helping UCO complete their business, which, after all, is your business. We really have one other item, and time is getting short, so I'm going to skip over the officer's report, and we're going to call Anita up to have a vote on the bylaw amendments.
We're not going to have time to go through what we needed to cover for today, but we can get started if you would like to do that. You'll remember that last time we did another round of modifications on quorum and line item modification. But I can't bring it to you today because we couldn't get a vote by the executive board. It was a Jewish holiday, Rosh Hashanah, and we didn't make quorum at the executive board. And we were only one off, but understandably, I can't bring it to you because our policy was whatever modification gets made, bring it back through the process. So we'll bring you those modifications next time. What we can vote on this time is Articles 6 through 8. And if you have the paper with you, that will help you. If you have the revisions, they're in the back of your packet. Does everybody have that? At the back of your packet, there are the revisions to 6 through 8. The modifications are there also, but we can't vote on those. So just 6 through 8.
All right, Anita, just before we go crazy here, because quite a few people have left.
Oh, okay.
Let's check on how many slips have been turned in.
Okay.
How many do you have? Ten? All right, and how many on your side? Okay, we still have a quorum.
Okay.
We can afford to lose 38.
Okay. I will go with one vote on Article 6. If the discussion is too lengthy, we may have to stop and bring it all back. Hi, Phyllis.
Phyllis.
I just want to say one thing. I think that these articles need as much time, if not more, than the budget did. So to start something now, when other things can...
Would you like to make a motion?
Yes, I'd like to
To
make a
move
motion
this to the next cycle?
To
Yes.
postpone this, is that the right word, until the following month?
Yes.
When we can give as much time to this.
You want to table it? Yeah,
Whatever.
fine.
Yes.
Yeah.
Table it, postpone it, wait, but I think this deserves more time than let's do one.
I gotcha.
Good idea.
And do we have a second on that motion? Ed Grossman seconds the motion. Something productive, marvelous, Ed. We have a motion, we have a second. I know it's a little out of cycle. Can you punch that one up for us, Marilyn? Because I really do need a vote in this before we just totally lose our quorum. Because people are voting with their feet.
Administrative.
Say again? You're saying it's a Robert's Rules thing.
Yeah,
Yeah, I know what you're saying.
they're already voting.
Yeah, I don't work so hard. I'm reminded that this is an administrative motion, and clearly it's a go. We will table this until next round of delegate assembly when we can provide the appropriate time. All right. John.
Yes, I would like to thank the UCO staff and all their work that they do in the paper. Did you read that letter that they published from the captain in the UCO paper?
Which letter, John?
On the back page, the letter from Captain Panuzzella to me.
Valenzuela?
Right.
Yeah.
Back page of the UCO paper on the second section.
Okay.
There was a letter printed of the sheriff's department to me of what I did for the community.
Okay.
So I appreciate what UCO
Oh, thank you.
and for their hard work.
Thank you very much, John.
Read that article. You find out what I did.
All right. I don't want to waste anybody's time. People are leaving like crazy. The principal business has been moved to the next cycle. So I am going to request a motion to adjourn. Wait.
David, I have an important question.
All right. Do we have a motion to adjourn?
David, I have an important question regarding the Haverhill Gate, which is
about it?
still open. People have to
waiting.
know what's going on. Thank you.
We're waiting for some chops from the county, particularly on the movement of traffic plan. We will keep everybody informed. Okay, and we have a motion to adjourn. Patricia Caputo. And do we have a second?
Charlotte Christensen.
And yes, sir. We are adjourned.
Good.